With an exception of parades, have you ever seen heavy armored cars on the streets of America? Military Humvees? Exception of parades. Have you ever seen them perform military exercises in the streets of your hometown? I haven't. Never. Well, it's happened again. Just before we went on vacation, it happened in St. Louis. And I want to show you the video from a local news report. The Army says it was just a training exercise. Military police came from Maryland to St. Louis, Missouri, to train local troops how to drive Humvees around. So it's like driver's ed, except, you know, the driver's ed people, they bring the cars to you. Instead of you going to, really? I mean, first of all, wouldn't it be a little cheaper to send these, guys from St. Louis to the fort, where these Humvees and these military vehicles already are? I mean, wouldn't that be a lot cheaper? I mean, I guess sending troops across the country to drive a Humvee isn't that troubling since the government finds new and expensive ways in wasting money every single day. But keep this in mind, this question, wouldn't it be better just to send everybody to Maryland, to Baltimore, to drive these things if it was really about driver's ed? Keep that in mind while you watch this local news report.
On the KSTK Facebook page, in just a few hours, we had more than 100 people weighing in on what was going on, with comments ranging from people saying they would stop and salute if they saw the vehicles to others worried this was the beginning of martial law.
Okay, look. This is one of those conspiracy stories, but I'm telling you something's not right here. People are writing the news station because they're seeing these vehicles. I mean, why would you call the media? Do you call them when you see a gas truck or the local police? No, of course not. And even if you did call and you said, there's a gas truck. It was right going to the 7-Eleven. I saw it. This was a little while ago. The media wouldn't cover it. Because they'd say, yeah, dummy, they're out on the streets all the time. You don't see this all the time. My team called up and talked to Army Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin. Said, General, is this standard practice? Driving Humvees across the country to drive them in urban areas in the middle of the country and drive them during rush hour traffic. He found it to be bizarre since he's trained in a variety of cities, and it's always been a very low-profile operation conducted with the help of a local SWAT team. The cities have always made sure that it didn't interrupt the daily activities of the people. Now, let me keep this story in mind while I tell you about the story in Chicago. In April, you remember, 3 helicopters were flying over the city of Chicago during the middle of the workday. Totally routine, right? No. The government says these were exercises designed to help the military operate in urban environments. Really? Chicago is one of the several U.S. cities picked for these training drills to, quote, minimize the impact on residents' daily routines. Okay, I don't remember this happening during the Cold War, and we thought the Russians were going to invade. Well, it shouldn't be a surprise if you paid attention to Chicago, because it happened again in Miami. Another realistic urban training exercise. Back in May, residents in Miami saw flying helicopters overhead. People were rappelling out of these helicopters. Some people called 911 because they woke up to simulated explosions and gunfire. Again, that sounds totally normal, right? I mean, nothing to see here, people. Really? The point is, the only reason why these stories are making it in the press or in the news is because we've never seen anything like it before. It's not making it to the national news, but it's making it to all the local news. I believe there are 2 logical explanations for this. There is either a massive change in military training that we should know about, or, more likely, the government is prepping for something big, like a civil breakdown. Boykin called this poor judgment at best. He also told us, at worst, it's preparation for contingencies that are anticipated. He's concerned about training drills like this because there's a pattern now of events that are conditioning people to accept this kind of activity as normal. It's not normal. Just a reminder on General Boykin, he's one of the original members of the U.S. Army Delta Force. In fact, I think he is the original member. He commanded the Army's Green Berets. He retired as a former Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence under President George W. Bush. Bottom line is, this guy's no dummy conspiracy theorist. He's a salt of the earth kind of guy. I believe the government is preparing for civil unrest. Now, they don't know that civil unrest is definitely going to happen, but what would give them that idea? Well, I think if you take a look at Greece and Europe, you realize it's probably a possibility it could happen here. If you pay attention to any of the briefings done by the extremist groups, they all tell you that it's coming here. They're going to cause it. Quite honestly, I talked to you a little while ago about the two Americas. If our country is being led by a president who doesn't think America is exceptional, who doesn't think that the people are the answer, then it would make sense that you would put tanks in the streets in the time of trouble. The government will have to come in and save the day. And this will end the same way it does in Greece. But I see the world differently, and I think you do too. We see an America that is exceptional. It's great because it's good. That's why we're going to do our Restoring Love program this month, because America is exceptional.